I'm Professor Grimaldo, and I'm a historian that specializes in the history of slavery.
Oh, I didn't see you there. My name is Henry Francis Leos IV, and I am the descendant of Elota Equiano.
I'm Professor Estrada, and I'm a historian that specializes in Holocaust history.
Luis, and my great-great-grandparents were Holocaust survivors.
Welcome to documentary of the Holocaust and Slavery. My name is Professor Grimaldo, as you know. I'm here with a guest, Henry Francis Leos IV. Hello, Henry.
Hello, Professor. Thank you for having me here today.
Well, thank you for being here. So, Henry, who exactly are you?
I'm a descendant of Elota Equiano.
Elota Equiano sounds familiar. Who is he? Could you elaborate?
He was a slave in the 1700s that came from Africa to America, and he wrote about his experience traveling from Africa to the Americas.
So he came here to America from Africa. How did he get here? A plane?
No, because obviously they didn't have planes back then. He came here they had a huge ship just mainly for transporting slaves, so that's how he got here.
A huge ship. So, when you say huge ship, I imagine, let's say, something like a cruise ship. Really comfortable, isn't it?
Not exactly. I guess you could say proportionally it was about the same size, but the treatment was fairly different. They were treated very badly, cramped quarters, not a lot of room to maneuver around, and they were shackled and they had to lay down. So whenever they needed to use the restroom, they'd have to do it right there, and it would get on everyone else.
Sounds like a horrendous lifestyle. Do you know if there was any resistance at all? If people tried to jump off the ship or anything like that?
There were a few. Some tried to leave. Once they jumped off, right away, immediately, the crew members, they ran after them, and some of them, they were killed right there in the water, or they were taken back onto the ship and flogged, which is beaten severely. So they were either killed or beaten severely. So once those few tried to escape and saw what happened to the escapees, they didn't ever try to escape anymore.
See, it's quite horrible, isn't it? Well, before they got on the ship, did they know that they were being transported to America for slavery purposes?
No, they didn't. Actually, they thought that the whites were bringing him over, or bringing them all over to the Americas to get away from their problems in Africa with the other Africans, such as tribal wars and just other quarrels that were happening amongst each other.
Wow, okay, so they're being lied to, basically. So you mentioned that you were descended from Equiano. He's a famous slave, right? Do you know if he had any family on the ship with him when he came to America?
No, he didn't. He was there. Of course, he was there with all the other Africans that were on board, but just he was there by himself. Like he didn't have any family, no relatives, no friends, no anything. It was just him and the others.
Well, you also mentioned that he writ down what his life as a slave, right? Why is that significant? Why is he famous for that?
He explained how they were treated from the travel from Africa to the Americas, and he kind of shed light on the whole situation that they were not treated as equal, or they were not pampered or anything like that. They were treated harshly and treated as people who didn't mean anything to them, like at all. They were just kind of there to work. Once they died, and hopefully they'd have children who would work until they die, and it's just a cycle.
Wow, that's horrible. So did a lot of them write their experiences? Like, was that a normal thing for slaves to do?
No, mainly because they would get in trouble if they had any access to that kind of stuff. But somehow Ekiano did it, and he was able to share his experiences on the ship.
Wow, so it's kind of a rare thing, correct? So was there any when the slaves got to America, when they were being, when they were put into slavery, was there any resistance, or did they just, okay, we're gonna work for you forever?
At first, everyone was kind of scared to try to resist, just based on the fact that they didn't know what the consequences were. But then eventually some did, and a lot of them did, and there was some slaves who devoted their life to helping other slaves gain their freedom, or just escaping to have some kind of freedom instead of working just their whole life.
Wow, okay. Oh, well, that's all we have time to talk about today, Henry. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for letting me be here.
All right, thank you. And everybody, this is Professor Gramajo with special guest Henry. Thank you for watching, and thank you for tuning in.
I'm Professor Estrada, and I'm here with Lewis. How are you, Lewis?
Good.
Alright. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are?
My great-grandparents were survivors of the Holocaust, and they do Eli, Brazil.
So, when was the Holocaust?
It began in 1938, and when the Nazis began to grow in power, and it ended in 1945 when Hitler killed himself.
And how old was Elie Wiesel when he was taken to a concentration camp?
14.
14 years old. Man, that is quite young. Did he have any relatives on the way there?
He was in a family of 4 with his mom and dad and a sister who were separated from him. Only his dad stayed with him.
Alright, and what happened with his relatives?
They were separated when they entered the concentration camp. His mom and sister went to one side, and he stayed with his dad on the other side.
Alright, and what ages did they say they were?
Ellie, who was 14, said he was 18. His father, who was 50, said he was 40.
Interesting. And would you relate it to slavery in any way?
In some ways, the Jews were hated kind of like whites hated the blacks. And Jews were also put to work in hard labor ships.
Interesting. And what type of stuff did the Africans do?
Pick cotton and work till they pretty much died.
Interesting. And what about the Jews?
Those who couldn't work anymore were killed off right away.
Interesting. Well, guys, this has been Professor Estrada with Lewis here. And well, thank you for coming.